Well, hello. Here we are at the beginning of a new 9 weeks. Hopefully, this new 9 weeks will be a fresh start for some and just a continuation of wonderfulness for others. You have learned many content, many concepts over the past 9 weeks, but you've also learned what it means and what you need to do in order to be a successful AP student. You realize the amount of work and rigor and time it takes in order to really be getting the A or definitely the A or B in class. Not that we're asking everybody to get that, but most of you are definitely used to getting A's and B's at all times, and some of you are getting C's and you are not used to that. But of course, you've never taken a class like this before, so it is not comparable to anything else you have done. So if you are doing for this class what you just do for any other class and you're still and you're getting a C, well, time to change something if you do want to increase your grade. We are going to start off this 9 weeks with Chapter 9 on urban geography. It is a very interesting chapter. Me personally, and I think other teachers would concur that this is one of your more comprehensive, possibly your more detailed, maybe even difficult chapters, just because of, in addition to all the information, the amount of names and models that you need to learn, which is far surpasses any of the previous chapters. So if you have any questions as you are listening to this lecture, as you are taking notes, also, I know a lot of you are auditory learners and listening to lecture is fantastic, but you should always try to write some stuff down. It is just another way for the information to be cemented or really give it that concrete format in order for you to remember it. So always email me if you have any questions. Email your teachers. Talk to each other also. Sometimes talking to someone else. You can always talk to this about this stuff with another adult and maybe getting a different perspective or a different way of explanation, or you just even explaining it to them could help in your learning process. Okay, that's my little pep talk. So here we go with urban geography. All right, when and why did people start living in cities? First off, let's just define what a city is. And you can see the three definitions there. A city is a conglomeration of people and buildings clustered together to serve as a center of politics, culture, and economics. Most of you are aware what a city is, considering we do live in a city, and of course we live in a larger aspect called a metroplex, which we'll get to soon enough, with Dallas and Fort Worth and even Denton up there, and just being in Texas in general, we are a state with many large cities. An urban area, which is what this chapter is called, urban geography, is the buildup of the city and surrounding environs connected to the city, the central city and the suburbs. And of course, that is what Louisville and Flower Mound are, the suburbs. And then this term urbanization, it's the movement of people from rural to urban areas. And in the modern world, meaning pretty much the 20th and now the 21st century, it can happen very quickly. And we know about urbanization. We have looked at it through previous chapters, the people moving from the cities, migrating. You do that for work, you do it for better opportunities, education, again, for a job, for employment, sometimes just overall better living conditions, although moving to an urban place doesn't necessarily mean better living conditions. Oh, look at that. Third slide in, and we have a map. What a surprise. You can see the map. It's about urban population, okay, where people most live in the cities, right, as a percentage of the total population, just as it says. Now, why do you think this is? Because Australia. Now, you think here in the United States, wow, we have a lot of cities. A lot of people live in cities, but we're not even in the darkest color. Why do you think it's Australia? I know why. Do you know why? Why don't you try to think about why and then come tell me? I'm not just going to tell you the answer. I do want you to think about it. All right, your origins of urbanization. Okay, people started off in agricultural villages. Duh. Civilization started around water. You got that. We learned that a long time ago. I think even in chapter 13. Okay, civilization, you need water. Water is life. You need to start off around water. Okay, but then as people started to settle down, farming came available. Okay, you had an agricultural surplus. You didn't have to move to where the food was. You could grow it yourself. There became a leadership class. Okay, let's not quite call it the haves and have-nots yet. Let's just call it maybe a little bit of a class or a social system. Oh, a hearth map. I have to be sarcastic. What a surprise, of course. Okay, we've seen many hearth maps. This is the Hearths of Urbanization map. Know the map. Ooh, you haven't heard me say that in over a week. Okay, Mesopotamia, Nile River Valley, Indus River Valley, Huang He, and Wei River Valleys, and Mesoamerica. Okay, we can go into each one a little bit more detail. Can't even tell you that I can pronounce these names correctly. Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro. I know I got that one right. This is where it is located, intricately planned. The houses were in equal sizes, no palaces, no monuments, and it does go into more detail about this area in your textbook. And of course, you should always be taking notes as you are reading also. Before I go on to this next one, the Huang He and Wei River Valleys, one option that some of you may want to consider, or all of you may want to consider if it is a possibility, is printing out these notes. Okay, definitely you need to take your own notes. Absolutely. Okay, again, it is just another way to solidify and truly make this information concrete. It's another form of learning when you write stuff down, and in addition to listening also and then seeing the visuals. But you may want to go ahead and print out these slides, 6 to a piece of paper, 9 to a piece of paper. Do not do each one individually, especially if it's color. And as you are reading, write notes down on top of my notes. Okay. You do have an outline that's contained in your reading study guide. Then you have the information in your textbook. And these notes are an outline of the text, as well as I do offer additional information and explanation. Printing these out and writing additional notes on them, or writing the lecture notes, what I say on them, while having this information already written down, may be helpful. It might be something you want to consider. Possibly doing it at school. Maybe you have the ability to print them out at home. That's fantastic. If not, do not feel obligated that you need to. You can come to school, maybe in the library. You can ask one of your teachers. I am not printing out copies for everybody. That is not happening. This is something that you do need to take advantage of or complete this task on your own time. Please do not ask any of your teachers to, or as far as me or any human geography teachers, to copy these notes for you, because, well, ones at other schools might do it. I'm not doing it for you. Anyways, okay, getting back to the notes. The centered on the north-south axis, there was an inner wall built around the center, and as you can see, these are the terracotta warriors. You might have heard of them before. They were built to guard the tomb of the Chinese emperor. They're statues, they are warriors, they are not built up around real people, like I've actually heard someone ask before. It was to protect this emperor in his tomb. Then you have the buildup of the Mesoamerica urban hearth. And you can see the outlines of the Mayan culture, the Aztec cultural area. Maybe some of you have been to these areas before or are from these areas. Some of these relic boundaries and old cultural centers are still there. There's still definitely ruins available from each of these civilizations that you can still tour and see, and that are still in existence. Okay, diffusion of urbanization. How did other people get the idea? And you didn't think we were going to go a chapter without hearing that word diffusion, did you? Because I don't know if that's happened yet. So the diffusion, the spread of urbanization started in Greek cities, okay? 500 BCE, remember, before Common Era, or BC, before Christ. You can use either one, but you need to know both. Greeks were highly urbanized, network of over more than 500 cities and towns, and their acropolises. Okay? Buildings on a height of a land surrounded by an agora, an open public space. You can think of it as a marketplace. Then the Roman cities. Okay? The cities and small towns linked together by hundreds of miles of roads, sea routes, okay? Typically for trade. That is the reason why these cities existed. Instead of the Acropolis and the Agora, the two separate that the Greek had, the Romans combined it into one, calling it a forum. Okay? One open big space as a forum. And here we have an income gap. There was the extreme wealthy and extreme poverty. Spatial inequality is another word for that. Okay, the income gap or spatial inequality, that is your divide between your extreme wealth and those in extreme poverty. Here's a map of the Roman Empire. You can see all the trade routes and how they do connect the cities. And then our last slide for this part one, urban growth after Greece and Rome. Now they established it, and then this is how it diffused and continued to spread and grow throughout our civilizations after their dominance in the world. Europe in the Middle Ages actually even experienced a decline after the Roman Empire and its urbanization. In Asia, the trade cities and centers were along the Silk Road. And in West Africa, the three main kingdoms in West Africa, Ghana, Mali, and Songhai, were major trading cities and ports and centers, and the urban areas grew up around them. And then in the Americas, it does talk about that in the books, their growth and their subsequent decline. Okay, hopefully you enjoyed these beginning notes. There will definitely be 3 more parts, if not 4. Have fun. Bye.